Day 176, Divided Kingdom, 2 Kings 8, Hosea 8-10, Psalm 107, let's begin. 2 Kings 8. Now Elisha spoke to the woman, whose son he had caused to live, saying, Rise up. Go, you and your household, and sojourn in whatever place you can find. For the Lord has called forth a famine, and it shall overwhelm the land for 7 years. And she rose up, and she acted in accord with the word of the man of God. And going with her household, she sojourned in the land of the Philistines for many days. And when the 7 years had ended, the woman returned from the land of the Philistines. And she departed, so that she might petition the king on behalf of her house and on behalf of her fields. Now the king was speaking with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Describe for me all the great deeds that Elisha has done. And as he was describing for the king the manner in which he had raised the dead, the woman appeared, whose son he had restored to life, crying out to the king on behalf of her house and on behalf of her fields. And Gehazi said, My lord the king, this is the woman, and this is her son, whom Elisha raised up. And the king questioned the woman, and she explained it to him. And the king appointed a eunuch to her, saying, Restore to her all that is hers, with all the proceeds of the fields, from the day that she left the land until the present. Also, Elisha arrived in Damascus, and Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, was ill. And they reported to him, saying, The man of God has arrived here. And the king said to Hazael, Take with you gifts, and go to meet the man of God, and consult the Lord through him, saying, Will I be able to escape from this, my infirmity? And so, Hazael went to meet him, having with him gifts, and all the goods of Damascus, the burdens of 40 camels. And when he had stood before him, he said, Your son, Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, sent me to you, saying, Will I be able to be healed from this, my infirmity? And Elisha said to him, Go, tell him, you will be healed. But the Lord has revealed to me that, dying he shall die. And he stood beside him, and he was so troubled that his face became flushed. And the man of God wept. And Hazael said to him, Why is my lord weeping? And he said, Because I know the evil that you will do to the sons of Israel. Their fortified cities you will burn with fire, and their young men you will kill with the sword. And you will destroy their little ones, and tear open the pregnant women. And Hazael said, But what am I, your servant, a dog, that I would do this great thing? And Elisha said, The Lord has revealed to me that you will be the king of Syria. And when he had departed from Elisha, he went to his lord, who said to him, What did Elisha say to you? And he responded, He said to me, You shall receive health. And when the next day had arrived, he took a small covering, and poured water on it, and he spread it over his face. And when he died, Hazael reigned in his place. In the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, the king of Israel, and of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, reigned as the king of Judah. He was 32 years old when he had begun to reign, and he reigned for 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the ways of the kings of Israel, just as the house of Ahab had walked. For the daughter of Ahab was his wife. And he did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. But the Lord was not willing to destroy Judah, because of David, his servant, just as he had promised him, so that he might grant a light to him and to his sons for all days. In his days Idumea drew apart, so as not to be under Judah, and they appointed a king for themselves. And so Jehoram went to Zer, and all the chariots with him. And he rose up in the night, and he struck down the Idumeans who had surrounded him, and the leaders of the chariots. But the people fled to their tents. And Idumea drew apart, so as not to be under Judah, even to this day. Then Libnah also drew apart, at the same time. Now the rest of the words of Jehoram, and all that he did, have these not been written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Judah? And Jehoram slept with his fathers, and he was buried with them in the city of David. And Ahaziah, his son, reigned in his place. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, the king of Israel, Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, the king of Judah, reigned. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he had begun to reign, and he reigned for 1 year in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, the king of Israel. And he walked in the ways of the house of Ahab. And he did what is evil before the Lord, just as the house of Ahab did. For he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. Also, he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, in order to fight against Hazael, the king of Syria, at Ramoth-Gilead. And the Syrians had wounded Joram. And he turned back, so that he might be cured at Jezreel. For the Syrians had wounded him at Ramoth, fighting against Hazael, the king of Syria. Then Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, the king of Judah, descended to visit Joram, the son of Ahab, at Jezreel, because he was sick there. Hosea 8-10. Israel is a leafy vine, its fruit has been suitable to him. According to the multitude of his fruit, he has multiplied altars. According to the fertility of his land, he has abounded with graven images. His heart has been divided, so now they will cross the divide. He will break apart their images, he will plunder their sanctuaries. For now they will say, "We have no king. For we do not fear the Lord. And what would a king do for us?" You speak words about a useless vision, and you will strike a deal. And judgment will spring up like bitterness in the furrows of the field. The inhabitants of Samaria have worshipped the calf of Bet-Haven. For the keepers of its temple, who had exulted over it in its glory, and its people, have mourned over it because it migrated from there. If, indeed, it also has been offered to Assur, as a gift for the avenging king, confusion will seize Ephraim, and Israel will be confounded by his own will. Samaria has required her king to pass by, like foam on the face of the water. And the heights of the idol, the sin of Israel, will be utterly destroyed. The burr and the thistle will rise up over their altars. And they will say to the mountains, "Cover us," and to the hills, "Fall on us." From the days of Gibeah, Israel has sinned, in this they remain firm. The battle in Gibeah against the sons of iniquity will not take hold of them. According to my desire, I will correct them. And the peoples will be gathered together over them, while they are chastised for their two iniquities. Ephraim is a heifer that has been taught to love treading out the grain, but I passed over the beauty of her neck. I will rise over Ephraim. Judah will plow, Jacob will break up the soil for himself. Sow for yourselves in justice, and harvest in the mouth of mercy, renew your fallow land. But the time when you will seek the Lord is the time when he will arrive who will teach you justice. You have plowed impiety, you have harvested iniquity, you have eaten the fruit of lies. For you had confidence in your ways, in the multitude of your good fortunes. A tumult will arise among your people, and all your fortifications will be laid waste, just as Salmon was destroyed by the house of him that judged Baal on the day of the battle, the mother having been crushed against her sons. So has Bethel done to you, before the face of your malicious wickedness. Let there be a trumpet in your throat, like an eagle over the house of the Lord, on behalf of those who have transgressed my covenant and violated my law. They will call on me, "O my God, we Israel know you." Israel has thrown away goodness, the enemy will overtake him. They have reigned, but not by me. Leaders have emerged, and I did not recognize them. Their silver and their gold they have made into idols for themselves, so that they might cross over. Your calf, Samaria, has been rejected. My fury has been enraged against them. How long will they be incapable of being cleansed? For it is itself also from Israel, a workman made it, and it is not God. For the calf of Samaria will be used for the webs of spiders. For they will sow wind and reap a whirlwind. It does not have a firm stalk, the bud will yield no grain. But if it does yield, strangers will eat it. Israel has been devoured. Now, among the nations, it has become like an unclean vessel. For they have gone up to Assur, a wild ass alone by himself. Ephraim has given presents to his lovers. But even when they will have brought the nations together for the sake of money, now I will assemble them. And they will rest for a little while from the burden of the king and the leaders. For Ephraim multiplied altars to sin, and sanctuaries have become an offense for him. I will write to him my intricate laws, which have been treated like strangers. They will offer victims, they will immolate flesh and will eat, and the Lord will not accept them. For now he will remember their iniquity, and he will repay their sins, they will be turned back to Egypt. And Israel has forgotten his Maker, and has built shrines. And Judah has increased its fortified cities. And I will send fire upon his cities, and it will devour its structures. Do not choose to rejoice, Israel, do not celebrate as the crowds do. For you have been committing fornication against your God, you have loved a prize upon every threshing floor of wheat. The threshing floor and the oil press will not feed them, and the wine will deceive them. They will not dwell in the land of the Lord. Ephraim has been returned to Egypt, and he has eaten polluted things among the Assyrians. They will not offer a libation of wine to the Lord, and they will not please him. Their sacrifices will be like the bread of mourners. All those who eat it will be defiled. For their bread is of their soul, it will not enter into the house of the Lord. What will you do on the solemn day, on the day of the feast of the Lord? For, behold, they have been sent away by devastation. Egypt will gather them together, Memphis will bury them. Nettles will inherit their desired silver, the burr will be in their tabernacles. The days of visitation have arrived, the days of retribution are here. Know this, Israel, that the prophet was foolish, the spiritual man was mad, because of the multitude of your iniquities and the great extent of your foolishness. The watcher of Ephraim was with my God. The prophet has become a snare of ruin over all his ways, insanity is in the house of his God. They have sinned profoundly, just as in the days of Gibeah. He will remember their iniquity, and he will repay their sin. I discovered Israel like grapes in the desert. Like the first fruits of the fig tree, I saw their fathers on the end of its branches. But they went into Baal-peor, and they have been estranged by intermingling, and they have become abominable, just like the things that they chose to love. Ephraim has chased away their glory like a bird from birth, and from the womb, and from conception. And even if they should nurture their sons, I will make them without children among men. Yes, and woe to them, when I have withdrawn from them. Ephraim, as I see it, was a Tyre, founded by beauty. And Ephraim will lead his sons to execution. Give them, O Lord. What will you give them? Give them a womb without children, and dry breasts. All their wickedness is in Gilgal, for I held them there, in their hatred. Because of the malice of their inventions, I will expel them from my house. I will no longer say that I love them, all their leaders have retreated. Ephraim has been struck, their root has been dried out, by no means will they yield fruit. And even if they should conceive, I will execute the most beloved of their womb. My God will cast them aside because they have not listened to him, and they will be wanderers among the nations. Psalm 107. A canticle psalm, of David himself. My heart is prepared, O God, my heart is prepared. I will sing songs, and I will sing psalms in my glory. Rise up, my glory. Rise up, psalter and harp. I will arise in early morning. I will confess to you, O Lord, among the peoples. And I will sing psalms to you among the nations. For your mercy is great, beyond the heavens, and your truth, even to the clouds. Be exalted, O God, beyond the heavens, and your glory, beyond all the earth. So that your beloved may be freed. Save with your right hand, and heed me. God has spoken in his holiness. I will exult, and I will divide Shechem, and I will divide by measure the steep valley of tabernacles. Gilead is mine, and Manasseh is mine, and Ephraim is the supporter of my head. Judah is my king. Moab is the cooking pot of my hope. I will extend my shoe in Idumea, the foreigners have become my friends. Who will lead me into the fortified city? Who will lead me, even into Idumea? Will not you, O God, who had rejected us? And will not you, O God, go out with our armies? Grant us help from tribulation, for vain is the help of man. In God, we will act virtuously, and he will bring our enemies to nothing.